Hello and welcome to Moment of Truth. I'm Graham Hughes. This morning, Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, suggested that he might allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in upcoming elections, along with EU citizens, something I massively agree with. However, the Tories, we know, have issues with the idea that we should address the issues facing young people. And that's what I want. Allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to vote could help bring the issues that actually matter to young people to the forefront. Stuff like mental health, stuff like education, employment, climate change, affordable housing, stuff that the Tory voters don't care about. They couldn't give a toss, because why would they? They're all right. They're not working anymore. A lot of them are retired. You know, they're not in full-time education. And so many of the older generation, hashtag not all old people, a lot of them don't care about climate change, because when I challenge them about it, they say things like, oh, well, I'll be dead, so I don't care. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Really? That's the future you want to leave your children and your grandchildren? Not to mention stuff like social justice and the insane amount of debt that the younger generations are racking up. And also the threat or the promise of new technology that the older generation doesn't quite grasp as well as the younger generation does. I'm trying really hard here not to be ageist, but we are talking about why we should allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote. And it would also lead to better representation, because young people are massively underrepresented in the political process. I mean, the people who run this country are all either middle-aged or old ages. There's so few people who are young who are actually involved in politics. And there's such a lack of engagement amongst young people. And like, young people bring ideas and fresh perspectives that people might not think of if they've been doing the same job for, 13 years, like the Tory party, who ran out of new ideas about 13 years ago. And they've done nothing. They've done nothing to help young people in this country. Also, having 16 and 17-year-olds voting also increases civic engagement. Encourages them to learn more about politics and encourages them to take their civic duties more seriously, I guess. And give them a sense of responsibility and ownership over the political process. I mean, when you say you're voting for your children's future, don't you think it makes more sense, as much sense to say, well, we should ask them what they want for their future? You know, and on the back of that, we could encourage schools to incorporate more political education and critical thought into the curricula. And also, what we find is that when young people vote at a young age, my first vote was when I was 18. I was just lucky. I had a general election in 97. I was 18. But this encourages lifelong voting. Studies have shown that people who vote in their first few elections are more likely to continue voting throughout their lives. So it means more democracy, more engagement, more ownership of the public arena for people throughout their life, not just when they're 16 and 17. But we know why the Tories don't want this. We know why the Tories do not want young people voting. Because Tories hate young people. They despise young people. And yeah, in a way, I understand why they hate them. I mean, 86% of young people would like to rejoin the EU. Only 15% of people polled last week are planning on voting Tory in the next election. Only 15% of young people. 85% of young people are going to vote for someone else. And we've also seen a process in the US and in the UK of millennials and Generation Z becoming more and more left-wing as they get older, which is a huge departure from what has gone before. Before, it was always, as you got older, you got more conservative. It was just the way it was. But these days, with the fact that mortgages have gone through the roof, rent has gone through the roof, young people are having to choose between heating and eating, they are not going to become more conservative as they get older, because the Conservatives have done nothing for them. Nothing at all. Let's face it, the Tory party is a dead party walking, and they know it. And that execution, my friends, it cannot come quickly enough.